The city never slept, and neither did Julian Foster. At 32, he had mastered the art of functioning on 4 hours of rest and endless cups of black coffee. His penthouse office overlooked Manhattan's glittering skyline, where towers of glass and steel competed for dominance. Foster Technologies had become a household name in just 5 years, and tonight marked another victory. The contract with Genesis Corp was signed, sealed, and worth more money than most people would see in 10 lifetimes. Julian loosened his tie and poured himself a drink. The amber liquid caught the city lights as he raised the glass to the window. Success tasted exactly as he imagined, yet somehow felt hollow. He pushed the thought away. Sentimentality was a luxury he could not afford. His phone rang at exactly midnight. The sound cut through the silence like a blade. Unknown number. Julian normally ignored such calls, but something made him answer. "Is this Julian Foster?" A woman's voice, professional but urgent. "Speaking. Mr. Foster, this is Mercy General Hospital. You're listed as the emergency contact for Claire Morrison. She was brought in an hour ago. Her condition is critical." The glass slipped from his hand, shattering against the marble floor. Claire Morrison, a name he had not heard spoken aloud in 7 years. A name that still had the power to stop his heart. "I think you have the wrong person," he managed, though his voice betrayed him. "Sir, she specifically updated her records 3 months ago. Your name and number are current. We need you here immediately." Julian found himself moving before his mind could catch up. He grabbed his coat and keys, leaving the broken glass and celebration behind. The elevator descended in agonizing slowness. His reflection in the mirrored walls showed a man who looked nothing like the carefree college student who had once loved a girl named Claire with reckless abandon. College felt like another lifetime. She had been studying literature while he pursued computer engineering. They met in a coffee shop during finals week, both exhausted and over-caffeinated. She made him laugh about failed experiments. He listened to her theories about forgotten poets. They fell in love the way young people do, believing the world existed just for them. Then she vanished. One morning, Claire was gone. No note, no explanation, no forwarding address. Her phone number disconnected. Her apartment emptied. Julian searched for months, hiring investigators, calling hospitals, questioning mutual friends. Nothing. She had erased herself from his life as thoroughly as if she had never existed. The pain had transformed him. He threw himself into work, building his company with the single-minded focus of someone running from ghosts. Romance became transactions. Relationships became networking opportunities. He convinced himself he was better off alone. Now, driving through empty streets toward Mercy General, those carefully constructed walls began to crack. The hospital lobby blazed with fluorescent brightness. Julian approached the desk, his hands trembling slightly. He had negotiated billion-dollar deals without flinching, yet asking about one woman made his voice shake. Claire Morrison. "I received a call." The receptionist checked her computer. "Room 407, 4th floor. Dr. Patterson is waiting to speak with you." The elevator ride up felt longer than the drive over. Hospital sounds surrounded him. Machines beeping, distant voices, the antiseptic smell that signaled human fragility. He had always hated hospitals. Dr. Patterson met him outside room 407. She was middle-aged with kind eyes that had seen too much suffering. "Mr. Foster, thank you for coming so quickly. Claire is stable for now, but her situation is grave." "What happened to her?" "She collapsed at home. Severe organ failure. She's been battling a rare autoimmune disease for years." Years. Julian felt the word like a physical blow. "How long has she been sick?" "According to her medical history, the diagnosis came 7 years ago." 7 years. The exact time she disappeared. Julian leaned against the wall, needing its support. "Can I see her?" Dr. Patterson hesitated. "She's conscious, but very weak. Mr. Foster, I need you to understand something. Claire is on the transplant list, but her condition has deteriorated rapidly. Without a donor match soon, her prognosis is poor. Whatever she needs, money is not an issue. The best specialists, experimental treatments, anything. It's not about money. It's about time. And sometimes time is the one thing we cannot buy." The doctor opened the door. Julian stepped into the room and felt his entire world shift. Claire lay in the hospital bed, impossibly small against the white sheets. 7 years had changed her. Her face, once bright with laughter, now carried the pallor of long illness. Her dark hair, which used to cascade down her back, was cut short and thin. But her eyes, those incredible green eyes, were the same. They found his across the room, and tears began to fall. "Julian," she whispered, "I never wanted you to see me like this." He crossed the distance in 3 strides, falling into the chair beside her bed. His hand found hers, feeling how fragile she had become. "You left. 7 years ago, you just left. Why?" Claire's tears continued, silent and steady. "Because I loved you too much to let you sacrifice everything. When they told me I had maybe 5 years to live, I knew what I had to do. You had dreams, Julian. A future. I could not let you waste it, watching me die. That was not your choice to make." His voice broke on the words. "I thought it would be easier. I thought you would forget me, find someone healthy, build your life. I never imagined you would put my name as your emergency contact after all this time." "I did not." Julian stared at their joined hands. "I never changed my contact information at the hospital from when we were together. I never moved on, Claire. I just pretended to." The machines beeped steadily, measuring a life hanging by threads. Outside the window, the city continued its endless motion, uncaring about the private devastations happening in rooms like this. "I followed your success," Claire said softly. "Every article, every achievement. I was so proud of you. You built an empire. I built a prison." Julian brought her hand to his lips. "None of it means anything without you. Julian, you need to understand. I am dying. The doctors give me weeks, maybe months. I called them to update my information because I wanted you to know the truth before the end. I wanted to say goodbye properly this time. No." The word came out fierce. "I lost you once because you made choices for both of us. I will not lose you again without fighting. Whatever it takes, Claire. Whatever you need." She smiled then, sad and beautiful. "Some things even your fortune cannot fix. Then we face it together. No more running. No more secrets. Whatever time we have, we spend it as we should have spent the last 7 years. Dr. Patterson knocked softly before entering. "I hate to interrupt, but Claire needs to rest. Mr. Foster, perhaps we could discuss treatment options in my office." Julian stood but did not release Claire's hand. "I will be right outside." "I promise I am not going anywhere." "I know," Claire whispered. "I should have known 7 years ago that you would never let go. That's why I had to disappear completely. Because your love was strong enough to destroy you, or save us both." He kissed her forehead gently, feeling the heat of fever beneath his lips, and left the room with the doctor. In the hallway, the full weight of the situation crashed over him. The woman he had never stopped loving was dying. The life he had built suddenly felt like a monument to nothing. And yet, for the first time in 7 years, he felt truly alive. Dr. Patterson led him to a small consultation room. But Julian was already making mental plans, donor matches, experimental treatments, the best medical minds money could summon. He had built an empire from nothing. Surely he could find a way to save one life, the only life that had ever truly mattered. Morning light filtered through the hospital blinds, casting long shadows across Claire's room. Julian had not left. He spent the night in the uncomfortable chair beside her bed, watching the monitors track each breath, each heartbeat. Sleep seemed impossible when every beep reminded him how close he was to losing her again. Dr. Patterson had explained everything in clinical terms. Autoimmune hepatitis with progression to liver failure. Years of treatment that slowed but could not stop the inevitable decline. A transplant list where Claire's rare blood type made finding a match nearly impossible. The doctor spoke of percentages and timelines, but Julian heard only one truth. Claire was running out of time. As dawn broke, Claire stirred. Her eyes opened slowly, adjusting to the light and to the sight of Julian still there, his shirt wrinkled, his usually perfect hair disheveled. "You stayed," she said, her voice rough from sleep and medication. "I told you I was not going anywhere." He reached for the water cup, helping her take small sips through the straw. "How do you feel?" "Like I have been hit by a truck." "But honestly, that is normal lately." She tried to smile, but it faded quickly. "Julian, we need to talk about what happens next." "What happens next is you get better." I have already contacted 3 specialists. 3 days passed in a blur of doctors, tests, and quiet conversations. Julian had transformed Claire's hospital room into a command center, his laptop balanced on the windowsill, phone constantly ringing with updates from specialists around the world. He refused to return to his office, conducting board meetings from the hallway, making million-dollar decisions while holding Claire's hand. On the 4th morning, Dr. Patterson arrived with news that changed everything. "We found a potential match," she said, her voice carrying cautious hope. "A living donor." Someone came forward after seeing a story about rare blood types and transplant needs. Julian sat up straighter. "How soon can we proceed?" "There are tests to run, compatibility checks. But if everything aligns, we could be looking at surgery within 2 weeks." The doctor turned to Claire. "This is the chance we hoped for." After she left, Claire stared at the ceiling, processing the information. "A stranger is willing to give me part of their liver. Someone I will never meet is offering me years I do not deserve." "You deserve everything," Julian said firmly. "Every day, every moment, every chance at happiness." But something in his expression made Claire study him more carefully. "Julian, what are you not telling me?" He stood, moving to the window where the morning sun painted the city gold. When he spoke, his voice was steady but filled with emotion. "The donor is not a stranger." The ultimate sacrifice. Claire's heart monitor beeped faster. "What do you mean?" Julian turned to face her. "When Dr. Patterson said you needed a transplant, I got tested immediately. I am a match, Claire. Not perfect, but close enough. The doctors say I can donate a portion of my liver. It will regenerate. You will have a real chance at life." "No." The word came out sharp and panicked. "Absolutely not. That is major surgery with real risks. You could have complications, infections. What if something goes wrong?" "Then something goes wrong. But at least I will have tried." This is exactly what I was afraid of 7 years ago. Claire struggled to sit up, wincing at the movement. "You sacrificing yourself for me. Your health, your life, everything you built." Julian returned to her side, taking both her hands in his. "Let me tell you what I learned while you were gone. All that success, the company, the money, the recognition meant nothing without someone to share it with. I was successful and completely empty. The only time I felt truly alive was when I thought about you. But you could die on that operating table. We could both die if we do nothing. At least this way, we fight together." His thumb traced circles on her palm. "Claire, 7 years ago you made a choice out of love. You thought protecting me meant leaving. Now I am making a choice out of love. Protecting you means staying, no matter the cost." The corporate world learns about love. The news spread quickly through Julian's company. His second-in-command, Richard Torres, showed up at the hospital that afternoon, looking concerned and confused. "Julian, the board is worried. You have not been in the office for a week. The Genesis deal needs finalizing. And now I hear you are planning major surgery?" Julian looked up from his laptop. "The deal can wait, or someone else can handle it. There are more important things than quarterly profits." Richard blinked in surprise. Julian Foster, the man who once worked through pneumonia rather than miss a presentation, was suddenly talking about priorities beyond business. "Who is she?" Richard asked quietly, glancing at the sleeping figure in the bed. "The only thing that ever really mattered." Julian closed his laptop. "I built this company thinking success would fill the emptiness she left behind. I was wrong. Success without love is just noise." Richard sat down, studying his friend and boss. "You are really going to do this? Risk everything for her?" "I am not risking everything. I am finally investing in the right thing." Julian smiled, the first genuine smile Richard had seen in years. "If the board has a problem with it, they can vote me out. Some things are worth more than a corner office." The night before surgery. The evening before the transplant, Julian sat beside Claire's bed as darkness fell over the city. They had spent the day with lawyers, updating documents, going through the medical procedures one final time. Now, in the quiet hours, they simply existed together. "Tell me about Seattle," Julian said softly. "I want to know everything I missed." Claire smiled faintly. "It rained constantly. I lived in a tiny apartment above a coffee shop. The owner, Mrs. Chen, knew I was sick. She would bring me soup and tell me stories about her late husband. How they had 50 years together because he refused to let her push him away when she got scared. Smart man. I thought about you every single day. Wondered what you were eating for breakfast. If you remembered to sleep, whether you found someone new? She paused. Did you? Find someone? I dated. Tried to move on. But nobody was you. Nobody made me laugh the way you did. Nobody challenged me or saw through my walls. I kept comparing everyone to a memory, and they all came up short. Claire's eyes glistened. I wasted so much of our time. You were afraid. Fear makes us do foolish things, but we get tomorrow, Claire, and the day after that. However many days this surgery gives us, we take them all. The morning light surgery was scheduled for dawn. As nurses came to prepare Claire, Julian held her face gently between his hands. I will see you on the other side, he promised. Julian, if something goes wrong, if you do not wake up, I need you to know that you gave me more than a chance at life. You gave me proof that love survives everything. Distance, time, fear, even death. You never stopped loving me. I could never stop. You are written into every cell of my body. Now some of those cells will be in you too. We will be connected in a way that goes beyond romance or promises. You will carry part of me always. They wheeled her away first. Then orderlies came for Julian. As he was lifted onto the gurney, Richard appeared in the doorway. The board voted, he said. Unanimous support. They said the company can wait. Go save your girl. Julian nodded his thanks, feeling the sedative beginning to work. His last conscious thought before darkness took him was of Claire's eyes, green and beautiful, waiting for him in the recovery room. Love's victory. 8 hours later, Dr. Patterson emerged from surgery, tired but smiling. The waiting room had filled with people. Richard and several board members, Rachel, who flew in from Chicago when she heard, even Mrs. Chen from Seattle, who Claire had mentioned so often. Both surgeries went perfectly, the doctor announced. Julian is in recovery. Claire's body is already accepting the transplant. Barring complications, they both should make full recoveries. Rachel began to cry. Richard let out a breath he had been holding for hours. Strangers who had gathered because the story touched them applauded softly. 6 weeks later, Julian and Claire sat in her hospital room for the last time. Discharge papers signed, follow-up appointments scheduled, medications organized. The morning sun streamed through windows, painting everything gold. Ready to go home? Julian asked, offering his hand. Claire took it, standing slowly but steadily. I do not actually have a home anymore. I gave up my lease in Portland. Julian's smile was warm and certain. Good thing I have plenty of space. If you will have me every day through every treatment and recovery and ordinary moment in between. Are you asking me to move in with you? I am asking you to build a life with me. The life we should have had 7 years ago. The life we can still have if we are brave enough. Claire pulled him close, breathing in the scent of him, feeling his heartbeat steady against hers. Yes, to all of it. To every ordinary and extraordinary day. To building something real. They left the hospital together, walking into sunshine and possibility. Behind them, machines stood silent, their work done. Ahead, the city stretched endless with promise. Julian Foster had built an empire, but he had learned that success measured in dollars meant nothing compared to success measured in love. Claire Morrison had tried to save him by leaving, only to discover that sometimes salvation comes from staying. They had lost 7 years to fear. But they gained something more precious, the understanding that true love does not mean protecting someone from hardship. It means facing hardship together, hand in hand, heart beating beside heart. The road ahead would still have challenges. Recovery would take time. Life never promised easy, but they would walk it together. And that made all the difference. Because in the end, love does not conquer death or illness or fear. Love simply refuses to let go. And sometimes that refusal is the bravest and most beautiful thing in the world.